Many growers are continuing to struggle with resistant weeds, especially in soybeans. The next story provides an overview on how weeds become resistant, as well as some great options to consider in order to beat resistant weeds in 2017 and beyond.
Herbicide resistance is the inherited ability of a plant to survive after exposure to a dose of herbicide that would normally be lethal. So in the U.S., there are about 150 weed species that currently show resistance to at least one or more herbicides. Well, let's dispel any myths that might be out there. Weeds are not mutated to become resistant to herbicides by herbicide applications. Resistance results from the genetic variation within the weed population itself. In simple terms, it's when a very small number of weeds from a population possess some natural resistance to a herbicide. Herbicide resistance develops through repeated exposure of the weed population to the same herbicide or herbicide site of action. Those plants that survive and set seed and produce the next generation of resistant plants. Eventually, the entire weed population is comprised of plants that can survive herbicide exposure. That is, the entire weed population is now herbicide resistant. The best way to manage weeds with known herbicide resistance or to prevent their development is to utilize a diverse weed management strategy, which includes the following. Number 1, accurate weed identification. Number 2, clean fields policy utilizing proper tillage, effective burn down and soil applied residual herbicides, clean field equipment preventing seed movement. Number 3, a zero tolerance policy. When it comes to escaping weeds, preventing escaped weeds from surviving and producing seed. Number 4, correct application of herbicides using proper timing and technique, including correct nozzle use, spacing and pressure, full herbicide use rates, proper application volume, and appropriate use of adjuvants and water conditioners. Number 5, use of a comprehensive rotation strategy, which should include crop rotation, herbicide-tolerant trait rotation, herbicide product rotation through the use of multiple effective sites of action, including premixes and tank mixes to reduce the selection pressure on a single site of action. Remember, rotation or mixing with sites of action that show resistance is not useful. Mixes and programs should contain at least 2 effective sites of action. In keeping with sound integrated weed management practices, Loveland Products features 3 residual herbicides that help growers establish and maintain a clean fields policy on their soybean acres. Intimidator is a grass and broadleaf herbicide with 3 active ingredients and 3 distinct sites of action. As part of a sound herbicide resistance management program, Intimidator offers growers flexible application timings, including pre-plant, pre-plant incorporate, pre-emerge, or burn down. Similarly, Matador and Matador S are 3-way herbicide mixtures with 3 separate sites of action. As with Intimidator, the Matador products provide residual control of over 50 grass and broadleaf weeds as part of a comprehensive resistance management approach with flexible pre- and burn-down application timings. Contact your local CPS specialist for additional weed management solutions.
To learn more about effective herbicides with multiple modes of action, visit lovelandproducts.com or contact your local crop production services consultant at cpsagu.com.